What's up everyone, welcome to another video of PokeTaj. I'm Taj and welcome to the channel. For those of you who've been with us for a while, I apologise for the lack of content. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I've had labyrinthitis and I'm still suffering from it, so I've not been able to edit any videos recently, but I really wanted to get this up because I have got into a habit of doing videos for pre-release and give you guys an idea of what the GXs and Prism Stars that are coming are all about. So today I'm going to be going through all the GXs and the Prism Stars we have got in this set. So there are, let me see, 16 cards in total I'll be going through in this video. So we'll make a quick start. This set, Team Up, has 12 GXs in total. 11 of them are normal GX Tag Team GX. So there's 6 standard GX, 5 normal Tag Team, and then there's another Tag Team which is full art only. So that makes 6 tag teams in total, 4 Prism Stars, but I'll go through them as we go along. So without further ado, let's go through each card, let's talk through the moves in English, and yeah, give you guys an update so you know what to expect during pre-release this weekend. So we'll start off with Venusaur and Celebi GX. It's a grass type with a HP of 270. It's a basic Pokemon, so you don't need to evolve to it, and the great thing about this is, like I said, it's got an amazingly high HP, but that's not the highest. You're going to see some greater ones in this. So its first attack is a grass and double colourless, and it's called Pollen Hazard. Does 50 damage, but more importantly, your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned, confused, and poisoned. This can do some amazing damage when you partner it up with others. I think Infernape was one, which does extra burn damage, for example. I think it does 60 per turn. And there's some other poison types which do extra damage per turn if your opponent is poisoned. So there are some other Pokemon with abilities that could make this really powerful. Second attack is 2 grass and a double colourless. It's called Solar Beam, and it does a straight flat out 150 damage, which is impressive. And then the GX attack, as you all know, you can only do 1 GX attack per game, but it is the same cost as Solar Beam, so 2 grass and a double colourless. And it's called Evergreen GX. It does 180 damage, but it heals all damage from this Pokemon. And the important thing here is, if you've got an extra grass energy attached to it, in addition to its attack cost, you can shuffle all cards from your discard pile into your deck. So that is phenomenal. Don't forget guys, Tag Team GXs do cost 3 prize cards. So if your opponent knocks out this Tag Team GX, they will take 3 prize cards. So it's important to know it's weak to fire, doesn't have a resistance to anything, and it has a massive retreat cost of 4. Moving on is this card. We've seen this already. This has come out in the Towering Splash GX box, but it is in Team Up as well as full arts and alternate art, which you're going to see. We've not got just a regular 5-band full art in this set. We've got some amazing hand-drawn artwork by some huge illustrators in the Pokemon TCG, and they've been doing some amazing work. I mean, all of these are by Mitsuhiro Arita, who is an amazing guy. Drew the original base set Charizard, and he's been doing some amazing artwork. But all the Tag Team GXs that have come out have been by him in the normal set, and they are amazing. So going by that, let's talk about the move on here. Right, it's got one main move which is called Super Splash, 180 damage for 5 water Pokemon. Now this has got a phenomenal HP of 300. It is a water type, and it is weak to grass, doesn't have a resistance, and again a massive retreat cost of 4. Its tag team attack is called Towering Splash GX, so 1 water plus, so it does 10 damage. If this Pokemon has at least 7 extra water energy attached to it, in addition to its attack cost, this attack does 100 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. That is crazy. So you don't apply weakness or resistance for bench Pokemon, as you're all aware, but 8 water energy is a heavy cost, but that does some heavy damage, which is potentially a game-winning amount of damage. And I have seen online games being won with that attack. So crazy. Use Quagsire with this, shift all the energy onto it, maybe even Naganadel, Hollow. Some serious damage can be done. Okay, moving on. We have got our next tag team here, which is Pikachu and Zekrom. Now, this is the first one that was introduced that we saw back at World Championships, where they did a preview of the tag teams. 240 HP, so lower than the other two. It is a lightning type, and it's a basic Pokemon. All tag teams are basic from my understanding. First attack, 150 damage for 3 lightning. It's called Full Blitz. Search your deck for up to 3 lightning energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. It then also has a GX attack called Tag Bolt GX, 200 damage if this Pokemon has at least 3 extra energy. So if you've used the first move and attached those 3 energies here, this attack does 170 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So potentially you could be taking out the opponent's active and a bench all in one go. That could potentially give you 4 prize cards. So fairly interesting that. It's weak to fighting, which can be a bit of a problem, and it's resistant to metal, which is great, and it's only got a retreat cost of 3 compared to the other 2. Moving on, we have got the first standard GX of this set, which is Ampharos. It is a stage 2 evolved from Fluffy, as we all know, at 240 HP, which is roughly about right for a stage 2. Its first attack is a single lightning, power recharge, 30 damage, put all electric power cards from your discard pile into your hand. And then it's got a double lightning energy attack, which is 150 damage. It's called Impact Bolt. Discard all lightning energy from this Pokemon. And then its GX is called Electrical GX. Search your deck for up to 7 Pokemon, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. You can't use more than 1 GX attack, as we all know. So yeah, standard GX, so it's only 2 prize cards for this. It's weak to fighting, and has a resistance to metal and a retreat cost of 3. Moving on, this is one of my favourites from the set. And we have also got the full art version in the background there, which I will show you guys. Which is the 5-band full art. Not the alternate art one. But this is Mimikyu and Gengar, or Gengar and Mimikyu. 240 HP. It's got a retreat cost of only 2. Again, it's a basic, as we discussed before. Its first attack is for 2 Psychic, and it's Poltergeist, so 50 times damage. Your opponent reveals their hand. This attack does 50 damage for each trainer card you find there, which could be quite good if they've got a fairly heavy hand. I'm sure you're going to find item cards and supporters in their hand, and they all count as trainer, so that could do some serious damage. Its GX attacks is called Horror House GX, and your opponent can't play any cards from their hand during their next turn. If this Pokemon has at least 1 extra Psychic Energy attached to it in addition to its attack cost, each player draws cards until they have 7 cards in their hand. So, could be interesting there. Weak to darkness, and it's resistant to fighting, which is fairly good. And like I said, retreat cost of 2. So that's a fairly good one. I'll probably try and build a deck around that one, but we'll see how we get on. Our next one is Mr. Mime, and you might be thinking, well, we've seen Mr. Mime before. Why are we seeing this again? We have seen Mr. Mime in English, and that version was Mr. Mime Evens. This one is Mr. Mime Odds. So its ability is Magic Odds. So basically, any attack done to this Pokemon in any odd format from 10 up to 250 doesn't do any damage. So this Pokemon would, if this Pokemon would be damaged by an attack, prevent that attack's damage done to this Pokemon. So any odd number from 10, any odd multiple of 10, 10, 30, 50, 70, 90, 110, 130, 150, 170, 190, 210, 230 or 250, basically it's immune to damage. Its attack is a Psychic and a colourless breakdown for each card in your opponent's hand. Put 1 damage counter on their active Pokemon, which is, again, if they've got a fairly heavy hand, that could be very useful. And for a single colourless, its GX attack is Life Trick GX. Heal all damage from this Pokemon. And yeah, no weakness, no resistance, and a retreat cost of 2. Next up, we have got a Lycan Rock. Now, I think this is midday form. Lycan Rock. This one is from Ultra Shiny GX. So most of these sets are made up from 3 sets. So Tag Bolt, not Night Unison, Tag Bolt, a Dark Order or Ultra Shiny GX, 3 Japanese sets. Ultra Shiny contributes a small amount to this set, not too much, and this Lycan Rock is one of them. So it evolves from Rockruffs, it's stage 1, 200 HP, fighting type. Its ability is Twilight Eye. When you play this card from your hand to evolve a Pokemon during your turn, you may discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So that's really good. Accelerock, 120 damage for a fighting and a double colourless. Straightforward as that. And its GX attack is Radical Edge GX, 30 times damage. This attack does 30 damage times the number of energy cards in your opponent's discard pile. So this could be really, really good against certain ones which rely on them discarding before they then draw from the discard pile if they haven't done so already. So that's fairly good there. A weakness to grass, no resistance, and a retreat cost of 2. Now, next one we have is the first Dark type, which is Hooper GX. Now, Hooper is basic Pokemon, as we know, 190 HP. Its attack for 1 Dark Energy is Rogue Ring. Search your deck for up to 2 cards, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So, no damage, but it does let you search. And then for 3 Dark Energy, it's Dark Strike, 160 damage. And it can't use this attack during your next turn, which can be troublesome as it's got a 3 energy retreat cost. Devil's Hand GX is a GX attack. Choose 6 of your opponent's Pokemon GX and Pokemon EX and do 30 damage to each of those Pokemon. So if your opponent has a GX or EX heavy deck basically, and they've got them all out, then you can do 30 damage to each of them. Weak to fighting, resistant to psychic, and a retreat cost of 3, as I've already mentioned. Next up, we have the Dark type version of Incineroar. Now, we've seen Incineroar before in its Fire type, but this is an introduction of it in its Dark type. We've seen type change in the past in Sun and Moon with Alolan Ninetales from Water to Fairy, and Incineroar has done the same. It's gone from Fire to Dark. It's a stage 2, evolves from Torracat, 250 HP. Its ability is Scar Charge, so once during your turn before you attack, you may put 3 damage counters on this Pokemon. If you do, search your deck for up to 3 Dark Energy and attach them to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. It's basically allowing you to have free charge up, is essentially what it's saying, because you can do that before you attack. Yeah. And then you can use that for the 3 colourless energy crushing punch attack, which does 130 damage. Discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. And so if they've got a double colourless on there, boom, that's gone. And its GX attack is the same cost, 3 colourless. Darkest Tornado, 10 plus damage. This attack does 50 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So you could essentially do 160 damage just by using that ability, then using the GX attack straight away. So fairly good there. Weak to fighting again, resistant to psychic, and a retreat cost of 3. I think this will see some play. Quite a useful card. Moving on, we have got Cobalion GX. Now, in Japan, this didn't see much love. This is probably the cheapest card I ever saw going in Japan. Literally, it was going for like $1 soon after it was out. For a GX, that was really cheap. It's a metal type, basic Pokemon, 170 HP. Its ability is Metal Symbol. As long as this Pokemon is in play, your Pokemon with Metal Energy attached can't be affected by special conditions. Remove all special conditions on those Pokemon. So I think it's quite useful in that sense. You can just have this on the bench. Stick an energy. Yeah, you're good to go. Dual Saber. So for 2 Metal Energy, does 50 plus damage. If there's a Stadium card in play, this attack does 60 more damage. So for 2 Metal, do up to 110 damage, which isn't too bad. And then its GX is Iron Claw. During your opponent's next turn, none of your opponent's Pokemon can attack, including newly played Pokemon. So that's a good stall move there while you get set up. Weakness to fire, and it's resistant to psychic, and a retreat cost of only 1. So fairly useful there. We then have the pairing of Latios and Latias. Guys, if you haven't checked out our McDonald's Happy Meal toy video, check it out. We have got one of these pairings in the first video. It's a plug for another video for us, guys. Dragon Pokemon, HP of 250. Again, basic tag team Pokemon. It does have a cost of 3 prize cards if it gets knocked out. Its first attack is Buster Purge. So a water, 2 psychic, and a colourless, 240 damage. Discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. So quite a heavy cost, but heavy damage as well. And then its GX attack is called Aero Unit GX. Attach 5 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. If this Pokemon has at least 1 extra energy attached, so it's a single psychic, if it's got 2 energy attached to this, essentially. Prevent all effects of attack, including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. So it lets you grab some energy, set up either this or you're benched, and then makes you immune from damage the next turn. So it gives you a great setup turn, essentially. It's weak to Fairy, no resistance, and only a retreat cost of 1. So as soon as you got set up, you can retreat it. Right, our final GX now, and it's another tag team, and we have a different version of it here, which was the promo in Japan. Snorlax and Eevee, one of my favourites. 270 HP. It's a colourless, basic Pokemon. First attack is Cheer Up for 1 energy. Attach an energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. There you go. Attach an extra energy, essentially. Dump Truck Press, 120 plus damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon, this attack does 120 more damage. So 2 double colourless, or 4 energy, essentially. Could do 240 damage to an evolved Pokemon, potentially knocking it out. Its GX attack is called Megaton Friends GX. 210 damage. If this Pokemon has at least 1 extra energy attached to it, in addition to its attack cost, which is 2 double colourless or 4 energy, draw cards until you have 10 cards in your hand, which is quite nice. Weak to fighting, no resistance, and a retreat cost of 4. We will now move on to the Prism Star cards. Now, Prism Star cards, the newer sets in Japan don't seem to have Prism Star cards. They have got Trainer Rare cards, which are reprints of very popular trainers in holo form. So I don't know what's going to happen going forward in the next set. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But the first Prism we've got here is Shaymin Prism Star, which was seen in SM8B, which is Ultra Shiny GX. It only allows you to have 1 copy of each, obviously being a Prism Star, in your deck, and when it gets knocked out, it'll go into the Lost Zone. So what does this do? It's got Flower Storm attack, 30 times damage for 2 grass energy. This attack does 30 damage times the number of basic energy attached to your Pokemon in play. So that could be quite useful towards endgame there, when you've got lots of energy on your bench Pokemon. It's weak to fire, no resistance, and free retreat, which is quite nice to have. Only got a HP of 80, but it could be useful in quite a few circumstances, so especially in grass decks. So nice one to see there. The next one we've got is Taboo Cocoa. Now this one has been seeing a bit of play in Japan, and it's quite a nice Prism Star. It's lightning type, 130 damage, HP, basic as well. And its ability is Ancestor's Dance. Once during your turn, before you attack, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may use this ability. Choose 2 of your bench Pokemon and attach 1 lightning energy from your discard pile to each of them. Then put this Pokemon in the Lost Zone. Essentially, it lets you charge up to put this in the Lost Zone, but your opponent won't get a prize. So you can use this for energy charging. While, say for example, before you get a Vikavolt out, maybe. It could help you accelerate a bit. Which is quite nice. It's also got an attack, 2 lightning and a colourless called Mach Bolt, 120 damage. Weak to fighting, resistant to metal, and a retreat cost of 1. Then we move on to the Prism Star stadiums, of which there are 2. So this is the first one we have. It's called Black Market, and as I scroll through to it, as I find it on my list of translations, when you play, basically what it states here is when a dark Pokemon, either yours or your opponent's, has any dark energy attached to it, is knocked out by damage from your opponent's attack, that player takes 1 fewer prize cards. Whenever any player plays an item or spot from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to this stadium card. This card stays in play when you play it, discard this card if another stadium card comes into play. If another card with the same name is in play, you can't play this card. Okay, so essentially this can only be removed by a stadium. It can't be field blowered, but your opponent, if this is in a dark deck, your opponent's taking one less prize for each Pokemon they're knocking out. Very useful, especially if you're just using basic Pokemon. They're not taking a prize. Very, very good. So that's seen a bit of play as well, and you would be foolish not to put that into a dark deck, if you ask me. Absolutely should be an essential, as you can only put one in each deck. Okay, final card we've got here today, guys, is Wondrous Labyrinth. The attack of none fairy Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, cost one more energy. So what this is basically saying is any attack, I'm pretty sure I'm reading this right, yep, any attack of a non-fairy Pokemon will cost one more. Whenever you play an item or support from a card from your hand, prevent all effects of that card done to the stadium card. And again, discard this card if another stadium card comes into play. So you can't field blower this. Again, it's a Prism Star stadium, which are quite hard to remove from my understanding. But yes, I believe that is what the translation states. Okay guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. Wonder if you guys have spotted the 3 proxies in here. If you have, please leave a comment down below. Let me know. Also tell me, what's your favourite Tag Team GX card? Yeah, there's 6 to choose from in this set. Let's get all 6 of them out for you, and then you can tell me which one your favourite is. So we have got these 5, and I've missed my favourite one, haven't I? Well, we'll pull this one out. Which one of the 6 tag teams is your favourite? And what 3 cards were proxies? Guys, I thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, there's another one coming with probably the pre-release promos. I'll try and get it out before the first pre-release weekend. And check out our other videos. I specialise in opening Japanese booster boxes, and we do open English product as well. So do subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below. Hit the like if you think it's been useful, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.